In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote, addiction is attachment to a feeling you're afraid to lose. Oh boy. And why every compulsive behavior is masking unprocessed pain. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's three things that we'll be looking at together today. Number one, why alcohol, pornography, work, achievement are all versions of the same avoidance. Now don't get too mad at me for that one. Number two, how to identify the feeling you're chasing and the pain you're running from. Number three, the healing path. Feeling what you've been numbing instead of medicating it away. Alrighty, so the quote, addiction is attachment to a feeling you're afraid to lose. Yeah, man, I'm just like transparent on this one. As I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, tobacco. And for you, this will make this bigger than addiction because it always is. Now, in life, there are things that you're just going to enjoy. And what can I say? I'm not here whatsoever, like on Dr. Hawkins' vibrational scale. Shame is the lowest of the low. I'm not here to shame anyone, right? I'm here to talk openly. And that's always the cornerstone. So if there's a feeling you're afraid to lose, and that addiction, that attachment is like eating you alive, sometimes what you need to do is rather than over obsess, like I'll be honest with you, I've tried to quit certain things so much. And then I'm like, man, this ruins me. Not the like the attempt to quit, but the over obsession with quitting. It's a weird nuance. But in other words, we all have these things in our lives which we can do better. Very honestly, we know what those things are. So, the conversation we all need to have with ourselves really is like asking God to help us take care of it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do anything practically. Like, one of my favorite examples would be if you really want to lose weight and you're overweight and you need to do a cut and you just have too much fat on your body, one of the simplest things you could possibly do is stop buying certain food. Okay? So, and then I could even pair that to my like for tobacco. It's like, all right, dude, if you want to stop, if you know you should stop, well then how about you stop buying tobacco? But the thing is, like for me, I don't want to stop and I don't feel inclined to stop. I don't have a fear. Maybe that's whatever you would call it. But I don't sit there every time I enjoy tobacco thinking shamefully whatsoever. So therefore, I'm like, all right, this is fine. And hey, maybe not everyone, like maybe mothers or maybe fathers or maybe elders would be like, Sonny, you need to listen up here. And what can I say, man? We all are individuals and we all do have that sense of free will. So therefore, there's no shame here. But if you hear yourself in your head, like really over a certain specific thing when we're talking about addiction, well, then it's like, all right, it's there's a cool guy on Twitter. His name's Drew, and he says this: increase sacrifice or reduce desire. It's like, how bad do you want to quit? Well, then, if that desire is super high, well, then you will sacrifice anything and everything to quit, right? And who knows? There may come a day, and that may be the day when I end up letting go of certain things. But for me, it's like, man, eh, I just don't feel like increasing the sacrifice, or and therefore it is as it is, and you just learn to accept things. And when the time comes, you get help to let go of what needs to be let go of. See, that's the bigger picture trust, while also tying the camel with the food example. Ooh, the first sneeze got me going. All right, let's look at point number one: why alcohol, pornography, work, achievement are all versions of the same avoidance. Now, when we look at the bigger picture, it's this avoidance of stillness. But the thing is, we're not going to put alcohol and pornography into the same bucket as work and achievement. Now, they can be similar, bigger picture categories, but there's surely a contrast between alcoholism and entertaining lust and actually just working hard in providing for your family and achieving in terms of building business, sharing. Okay? But all simultaneously, there still needs to be this part, this portion of how you move where you are not avoiding being just with yourself in silence without stimulation. Now, that can come in many different forms. You go for a walk, you sit down, you read. See, reading is still a form of stimulation, but it's like a very uh, lower stimulation in relationship to a lot of the shallow technological dog shit that gets pushed through algorithms and advertisements and so on and so forth, right? So there is surely contrast there, but we begin to see okay, I'm going to do the things which charge me, and I'm also going to have this leisure time, this space to take care of my internal world, to reflect upon how I've been treating people, to reflect upon the things I have not been doing, and to sincerely ask the kind of like reflective questions around the quality of your relationships, your connections, your energy, your daily structures and routines, right? This doesn't need to be some like forced reflection, but rather just a honest looking at what you are, what you're building, and how you feel. So, with that kind of covered, the main takeaway there, I would say, is look at the ways that you avoid stillness in your life, and then ask yourself, like, how could I replace specific things? But remember that it's all through God, it's all through faith, that you don't need to force change, that you need to ask good questions and surrender, and the answers to those questions will come in prayer, will come in devotion. So, part of receiving insight is devoting yourself to asking the right questions, to creating the space so that then you will get these answers. Now, it's not so much I'm asking for a sign, it's more so I have no doubt whatsoever. And therefore, my life, number one, is loving God. Loving God in a way which changes my heart and allows me to love the world, to be of service to the world, right? And that's really how you stop avoiding because you take the time to understand yourself, and that connection to what is greater than yourself helps you because you begin to really lean on what's bigger than you. Funny enough, that's like how you actually get good in life, get good at anything, is really trusting and committing fully and wholly. So, point number two, how to identify the feeling you're chasing and the pain you're running from. Ooh, ooh. How would we look at this? See, how to, it's kind of like, that's what pauses me right there. How to is the wrong question. But identifying the feeling you're chasing and the pain you're running from. When you sit, you have things pop up. The things that pop up only arise when you sit. So you need to be still to identify what you're chasing and what you're running from. The initial moment in which you make a decision to do something that will create stillness is always the hardest part. Once you are sitting outside reading, once you have sat down to breathe, once you begin stretching and breathing, though it all does itself, it's not that hard to stay there, to watch the mental chatter arise and watch it go away. Right? You look up in the sky, the clouds are constantly moving. This is the same nature as mental chatter. This is the thing with stillness and Satan, where you can hear Satan more clearly when you're still. And that's how you begin to see how to repent. You can't get rid or rebuke or free yourself without knowing that you're chained. All right? So, stillness and sitting gives you the opportunity to see the shackles. And then the work happens in life, in moments of stillness, but also in moving life, because you begin to have that stillness integrated into how you walk. Now, this is big. This is huge because others see how you walk. And the only way to shift the material is to shift the internal. So you start in stillness, in darkness. You recognize the chains. You begin to learn the nature of the patterns, spirals, and tactics that Satan uses to chain you. And you begin to have this ultimatum or conundrum where you realize Satan isn't anything powerful whatsoever. Satan communicates and traps in the littlest of moments, but that's why the small things are the big things. Because, right, God isn't this fearful ruler. God has given Satan his duty so that you can do what needs to happen for this world to change. The world never changes without you changing, okay? So God gives you Satan to change you. If it was rainbows, cupcakes, full on light immediately, you would either be blinded or you would be bored because there would be no contrast. So that's the nature of what we're being brought through. So, practically, to wrap up point number 2, it's you identify this feeling in the pain by creating the space to be present with it. So it all starts with creating the space. And really practically, like, you do that in certain ways. I've said, and I will continue to say them, but I'm just not going to blindly repeat them because it's not always that simple. Okay? But really, it's through something greater. And that's a choice that you make. Now, number 3, the healing path. Feeling what you've been numbing instead of medicating it away. Again, I'm not saying you can't drink coffee. I'm not saying you can't drink alcohol. I'm not saying you can't smoke tobacco. You do what you will. God is taking care of you. God will change your heart. Now, do not ignore God, okay? And therefore, you will hear me say that, and you may still ignore him. Because part of learning to hear is being ignorant. See, part of the wide path is that ignorance is bliss. It's this wide path. Everyone's on it. The narrow path is harder. It's the path that doesn't look great. But that's because you're dealing with this stuff now instead of in later time. You, if you've been brought here, if you're on this, if you're resonating with what I'm saying, not everyone is going to be like you, all right? But in a simpler terminology, this healing path is a opportunity. It's beautiful. It's meant to be hard. You get your daily bread. Sometimes there's tribulations. There's going to be tribulations. It's okay. What I'm really saying is that it's this change in your heart and in your life that you begin to have so much goodness throughout your days that you don't need to medicate anything anymore. And that all starts, how do you think it starts? It doesn't start by just fairy tales. It starts by one action, one choice, one moment, compounding, creating momentum after another. And that's why it's in the moment. It's here and now, right? You may say tomorrow, but by time tomorrow comes, it's here and now. Sure, you may have plans, but It's about what you do today that determines how you sleep and how you wake up tomorrow. And how you wake up tomorrow determines like what you do tomorrow. So everything's about now. Everything's about today. And that's really the healing path. Is you do not fear, right? Thought is past and future. Here and now is present. Here and now is a gift. How do you turn your consciousness to a degree in which all you are is here and now? Well, you do the work. You do the work. You notice the moment that the things which take you out of now arise. They arise in the form of thought. Thought is built upon memory, knowledge, and experience. You don't need to intellectually understand them. You listen to the tone of my voice. You listen to the subtlest of change in which how I communicate. I'm not special, but there's something special in you that I'm talking about, and I'm talking to it. Okay? A lot of people aren't going to be able to listen to me because I'm not talking to the level in which they operate through. Some, oh, good Lord, I got to blow my nose. Some, it's kind of like the seed, the parable, right? Some will fall on certain soil, but the thorns will, right? Some seeds will fall on good soil, but they won't get water. The sun will be too strong. Some seeds will fall and everything will work perfectly for them. The sun, the water, right? The thing is, you determine how that happens in your life through conscious kind of devotion, through awareness of what you create via your word, via your attention. Hence why Christ said, your tongue gives you away. Your tongue is dangerous. Because what comes from your tongue, right? It's not what you put into your mouth that defies you. It's what comes out of your heart. Your heart turns into speech. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. I love you. You're blessed. You're powerful. You're healthy. You have something beautiful within you. And I know that you know it. And I know that you're going to share it. And I know how deeply I care about you. I love you. Beautiful. You are. New episodes out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to get into amazing shape, I'm going to keep the announcement short. All right. I have a book, I have a video nutrition series, and a video exercise series. 10 years, decade plus, documented, intentionally, non overwhelming, for those who kind of want the key information, the key guidance from someone with 10,000 hours into the game. All right. That's like my gift to you. And if you want to go deeper, you can go deeper. Offer one-to-one. But just email me for more information on that. I love you so much.